which yesterday, we'll explain the teaser stories a bit, how we get stories in to get you to vote on them. But the teaser story yesterday was the fact that Israel was dropping leaflets on Rafah telling people, you need to get out because we're coming into attack. This was supposedly overtaken by this story here, middle of the day, where the headline reads, Hamas says they approve framework for ceasefire agreement with Israel. So that sounds great. Let's read the story and then go deeper into how we started talking about this one, and we're still talking about the other one in a sense. The actual headlines read, Hamas has agreed to a ceasefire framework facilitated by Egypt and Qatar, as announced in a statement by the group. The plan aims to halt the 7-month-long conflict in Gaza. While Israel has not yet responded to the proposal, we'll get to that in a moment, it comes as Israel considered a ground assault on Rafah, Gaza's last Hamas stronghold. The city is now home to over 1 million displaced Gazans, which is the problem. Israel, in preparation, urged Palestinians in Rafah to evacuate to a designated humanitarian zone. The United States White House and State Department have not confirmed the details of the ceasefire agreement. So what happened in a few hours later was Israel attacked Rafah anyway, as they planned, because Israel stated the ceasefire that Hamas agreed to was not the paperwork that Israel put out there forward. And henceforth, they agreed to a ceasefire, but not the ceasefire that Israel was down for. So technically, there's no ceasefire. There wasn't any even chance. Now, they're back at the table. They're back discussing things again. But as we know of right now, Israel went into Rafah and took over the controlled side of it on Gaza, which means they're basically at the, right up boots at the ground next to Egypt, which could be a problem going forward for the Egyptians. Part of the reason why they wanted to get this ceasefire taken care of. What does this mean for the region? It means a whole lot of chaos and confusion, and nobody knows what's going on in total. We do know that Israel's still pushing their offensive. They're still trying to eliminate all references of Hamas, period. We know Hamas is negotiating, although how well they're negotiating is debatable. And we know the people who live in Gaza, the Palestinians, we'll say the innocent ones who are just having to move around to stay out of the bombs' ways, are not getting any actual attention to what's happening. They need some stability. They need this whole thing to be over with, and it's not happening. Spending a lot of time with this story because it gets more and more complicated every time we deal with it. And the really silly part about it is we're not even dealing with it because we're not there. But when we get there, World War III, that's essentially what we're getting at. So to keep this from happening and to give hope and give support to our ally, even though they may not be doing things on the quite up and up, I said those words, it's a difficult situation. This thing is a powder keg, and this thing is really, really, really an issue if it gets set off. So let's see what we can do to actually have a ceasefire, have a two-state solution, have everybody live in peace and harmony, have lots of falafels and hummus going around, and just get this thing done today.